Okay, three, two, one, let's dive into it. Happy Sunday slash Mother's Day to all of the moms out there. Appreciate what you do. Moms are amazing. We love moms. Strength is for everyone. Okay, but let's go ahead and dive in. So today's live, like I had mentioned, it's just going to be me talking about the next 5 weeks of my own training, sort of what I've got cooking, what the plan is. So big emphases in this upcoming block are my conditioning. I really want to push conditioning and my work capacity. I'm also going to be pushing squatting for a little bit. Just taking a break from deadlifting as heavy as I have been. The snatch grip deficit deads were fun. Got a new 3-rep max, which is great, but I'm ready to focus on squatting for a little bit. Plus the squat increase will help me in other places. I'm actually thinking down the road later this year I might start chasing down something like a 335, 350 for 20 on the back squat. I did 315 for 20 a while back. That was one hell of a set. Wouldn't mind pushing that a little bit higher. 20 rep squats are just kind of a good thing for me to push in general. I feel like they're good for the old strength and conditioning, and I found when I was focusing on 20 rep squats, body composition was definitely at its best as well. But that's just all kind of, conjecture, stuff I'm thinking about. Excuse me. Pardon. All right, freaking allergies, man. They are killing me. The other side of that, aside from my squatting strength, I want to push my push pressing a little bit. So I'm actually going to be doing some form of push press twice a week in this wave. What I'm doing is I'm actually going to do the push jerk with the axle. Reason being, my thought process here is Olympic adjacent techniques are easier to learn on the axle because it's more akin to a barbell, right? So there's less worry about the rack position. So then I can really practice the skill of the dip, drive, and push under, and then transfer that over to the log rather than trying to learn the push jerk, or rather say reacquaint myself with the push jerk while on the log at the same time, sort of like how you go from a little scooter to training wheels to a bicycle, just a way to incrementally progress it and help with the positional acquisition and getting better at it all. With that said, let's go ahead and actually go into the freaking training cycle now that I've been yapping for 2 minutes. Okay, so upper developmental day. This is how I'm actually going to start the week. So it'll be axle, clean, and push jerk. I'm not going very heavy here, nothing max effort. I'm going to start at 155 and then titrate down to 205 by the end of it. Now my best actual jerk, it was a split jerk, is 265. So I'm ending at about 80%. And bear in mind, I'm not doing a belt clean. I'm actually doing a mixed grip pull into a hang clean here. So it's not even a continental, it's a true hang clean style. And I'm doing that specifically to help kind of limit how heavy I'm going. Again, this is more for developing my leg drive. Then after that, I'm going to do a seated behind the neck axle press. And I'm actually doing a pseudo advanced German volume training progression here. So we'll start with 10 sets of 5, 10 sets of 4, 10 sets of 4 with a weight range to work within, then 6 sets of 4 with a weight range to work within. And then at the end of this wave, I'm going to go ahead and try and hit a heavy triple here. Just kind of see where I wind up. After that is a chest-supported neutral grip barbell row. It's known as a T-grip bar. Essentially, it's a Swiss bar, but with only one grip. I really love that bar. So it's just going to be 2 rest pause sets of 3 clusters. So I'll do 3 cluster rest pauses at 155. If I can get 20 or more reps, I'll go heavier next time. And then after that initial heavy set, I'm going to drop the load by 20% and bang out another rest pause set. This has just helped to drive in volume, get me working. I like rest pause a lot with chest-supported rows. It's one that I find I can really attack progression with. Then I'll do some face pulls, tricep press downs, and hammer curls. I'm actually going to swap out the TRX for a cable face pull instead. I'm just going to use the 2 RD12 progression on that. So that is, a set of 12. Then the second set will be max quality reps with the same weight, aiming for 15 or so if I can do that. Next time I go a bit heavier, and then I'll drop the loads 10 to 20% on everything and do a max quality reps set thereafter. Pretty basic operation there. Now, for lower max effort, I've decided for my variation I'm going to be pushing for the next 5 weeks, I'm going to use the camber bar squat. And the reason why is the camber bar squat is a lot like that high bar squat that I'm focusing in on. However, it puts a lot more load on the trunk and midline, and it's something I'm always talking about is the importance of torso strength. I just need to get my midline stronger to help support bigger lifts. So what I'm going to do in week 1 is I'm actually going to work up to an estimated 1 rep max. I'm not going to hit a true PR probably, but let's say hit 405. That's going to be kind of my safe guess. I should get more than that, but again, just throwing numbers out there, right? I'll hit the estimated 1 RM. And then what I'll do in weeks 2 through 4, you'll see it'll be 5 sets of 5 at 225 with 20 to 40 pound jumps every set. So then by the end of those 5 sets, right, if I go 225, let's take a 40 pound jump, right, that's going to be 265, another 40 pound jump. That's 305, another 40 pound jump. That is 345, another 40 pound jump. That's 385. So naturally, I won't take the maximum jump every single set, but by having some sort of range, some sort of delta for me to take my jumps within, that gives me some valuable data. And then the idea here is I'm getting a lot of volume on the way up, and the hope would be by the end of it, in week 5, I can actually hit something higher than what I hit in week 1, just due to getting more familiarity with the movement. 5 weeks is a pretty long wave for me, but I also haven't pushed a max effort type squat variation in quite some time. So it's a quick, easy way to get a lot of progress and a lot of progression very quickly without getting stale or getting bored, right? And then after that, it'll be a camber bar good morning, just a heavy set of 5 to 8, and then a back off set of somewhere between 10 and 12. It'll just be, about 85% of whatever the top set is. When the top set hits 8 or more, I'll go heavier in the following week. I'll start at 275 for this first week, and as I go through that, I might need to go heavier, but better to start a little too light. And then we're going to do a 12-minute density set with the sled drag. I'm just going to accumulate 300 feet or more at 75 pounds. I use a tire sled, so it has a lot of friction. Again, just getting that work in, really good for leg and quad strength. Love me some reverse sled drags. Lat pull down, we're just using that rest, pause, drop approach, just like I did on day 1 with the row. I'm going to repeat that approach with the lat pull down, and then some sort of sit-ups or ab flexion exercise. I'll figure out what that's going to be. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. We're going to make you side bends since I already have sit-ups later in the week. So that covers the first 2 days of the week. And then what I'm going to do in the latter 2 days of the week is something a little bit different, at least with the circuit work, but let's talk about the main lift first. Upper max effort day, I'm just going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rep max approach with the log. 5 by 5, taking 10 to 20 pound jumps starting at 115. 4 rep max, 3 rep max, 2 rep max, 1 rep max. My safe 1 RM right now I estimate at 210 because I hit 205 in a state of fatigue. So I think 210 is a really safe estimate for me. And considering the fact that my best log push press is 225, whereas my best jerk is 250, I'm thinking we should probably be due for a PR here, or if not, at least match that PR. And that PR came back when I was actually competing more, so kind of nice to be able to still put up some decent numbers, especially since I am more recreational these days. Who knows, maybe one of these days I'll get back into it. All it takes is one good competition nearby with events that I like, and I'll probably jump back in. But anyways, there's that. Then after that, it's going to be the EFS press, which is just a neutral grip 1.5 board bench press. I'm using that RP20 approach, so 3 cluster, rest, pause, 20 reps or more, add weight, and then a drop set, 20% off. We're going to start with 185, because if I get, let's say I get a more billion reps, I get like 30 reps somehow in this 3 cluster, rest, pause, then I know I can take a pretty aggressive jump going into the next week. Just feeling like rest pause is kind of a good option for me. I'm trying to make my workouts a little faster, to be honest. Just kind of cruise through them a bit more. I don't really feel like doing a long workout these days, at least not right now. It's summer, I want to be outside, so what I like to do is I get my workout in, walk around outside. I also try to, mix in sled work as much as I can to be outside. Then I'm going to do an EMOM circuit here. So we got an 8-calorie row, 20 band pulls, 5 landmine twists each way, skull crushers with the EFS bar, and then rest. So minute 1, minute 2, minute 3, minute 4, minute 5. 4 rounds of that, that's 20 minutes to get through all of this. And then I'll just add weight every week based upon performance. And I'll probably do something like with the last set of the skull crushers, just go for max quality reps, because there's really no downside to it at that point in the game, especially since this is my last upper body session of the week. I love how skull crushers feel on that EFS bar, and I'll probably do those laying on the ground. I've been really liking the dead stop floor style skull crusher, feels awesome. And then lower developmental day, we're just going to do some basic squatting, really light here, squatting twice a week. I don't need to squat heavy both days, obviously. We're just keeping this in the 55% range and then slowly working up while dropping the load. The idea here, mainly, this is just to warm me up for my deads. And what I'm doing here is a 5-week developmental wave where I'll start at 5 sets of 5 at 405, just taking small weight jumps as the volume goes down. So this is essentially a step loading progression. And then the idea is in week 5, I'll hit a single at 600. And, when I lock out that 600, if it feels good, I might just keep going. And then after that, EMOM series, so split squats on one leg, split squats on the other, air bike, and then some sort of sit-ups, and then the rest. Again, nice 20-minute workout, at least the circuit's 20 minutes, right? Especially because that workout takes place on a Friday. I want that workout done with so I can go home. Anyways, I'm thinking this is going to be a really fun training cycle. I like how it looks overall. You know, push pressing twice in a week is not something I've done in quite some time. So I imagine I'll be able to milk a lot of really quick skill and positional adaptation out of it. Got a little bit of back work pretty much every single day except for on the fourth day of the week. But, you know, we got 2 good rowing, like row workouts in there. You got the lat pull down in there. So I'm feeling pretty good about it overall, especially with these latter 2 days in the week. They are a heavy conditioning emphasis via the EMOM circuits, which right now, I just think a little more conditioning work for me is a winning move. Yeah, should be a really fun 5 weeks. We're calling this next little training block the Sunshine State of Mind. Maybe we'll talk about that at a later time as to why. But I will try and actually keep a more updated training diary. I know some folks had actually said they were curious to see what I'm up to in my own workouts, so if that is you, let me know in the comment section below to friggin' remind me to do this. Let's see, aside from that, Conjugate Codex carries on next week where we're going to be talking about power building. Hope you folks are having a great Mother's Day out there if you're watching this. After Mother's Day, hope you had a great Mother's Day. And I always appreciate you folks taking time out of your day to check out what I'm up to. Hope you're finding the content useful. Let me know if you got any comments, questions, concerns, things you want to see. Best topics are ones I will turn into videos, and it helps me help you. Anyways, I'll catch you.